Soon everyone on campus will know your names. Really? Just trust me.
This is the price of fame. Listen well. The two girls, Tola and Amina, were good friends. They went to school together. They studied together. Sometimes they sat under a big tree near their homes. They would talk about the future. One evening, Tola looked at the sky. She said softly, "One day we will go to the city." Amina smiled. "Yes, we will go to university. We will become successful." Their dreams were big. Their hopes were strong. They believed the future would be bright. But, and this is where the heart starts to tighten, life sometimes hides dark roads behind beautiful dreams. The university. The day finally came. Both girls passed their exams. They were accepted into university.
What is it? I
Their
got
parents were
accepted.
very happy.
Me too.
There was
We are
celebration
going
in
to
their homes.
university.
Neighbors came to congratulate them. Some people even cried tears of joy. The parents felt their hard work had paid off. The ululating, the singing, the plates of pap and stew passed around. Everyone proud, everyone crying happy tears because the girls were going to make it. Soon the girls packed their bags. They said goodbye to their
Amina,
families.
remember why
The
you are
journey to the
going there.
university felt exciting.
Take care of yourself,
When
my
they
daughter.
arrived, they were amazed. The university was huge. Tall buildings stood everywhere. Many students walked around. Cars moved in and out of the gates. Everything looked modern and beautiful. Tola and Amina walked slowly through the campus. Their eyes were full of wonder. They saw girls wearing beautiful clothes. Some carried expensive bags. Some held shiny phones. Some walked behind big cars. Tola looked at Amina. Her eyes were wide. "How do they live like this?" she asked. Amina shook her head slowly. "I do not know. Maybe their parents are very rich." Deep inside their hearts, something began to grow, a quiet desire. They also wanted that beautiful life. They wanted nice things. They wanted people to admire them. But they did not know that some beautiful things come with a terrible price. That's where the trouble starts. A small seed planted right there. A few days later, something happened. Tola and Amina met two girls. Their names were Vanessa and Carol. Vanessa was confident and bold. She walked with pride. Her clothes were always beautiful. Her hair was always perfect. Carol was also stylish. She wore expensive perfume. She carried a new phone almost every week. Many students knew them. When they walked, people turned to look. Vanessa noticed Tola and Amina watching them. She walked closer with a smile. "You girls are new here," she said. Tola nodded. "Yes, we just arrived." Vanessa laughed softly. "Do not worry. You will learn how things work here." Carol looked at them and smiled. Soon the four girls began spending time together. Vanessa showed them around the campus. She took them to beautiful places, nice restaurants, fun parties, busy streets in the city. Tola and Amina felt excited. They believed they had found good friends, but they did not know that Vanessa was leading them into danger. The easy money. One evening, Vanessa invited them out. They entered a big restaurant. Soft lights filled the room. Beautiful music played in the background. The chairs were soft. The food smelled wonderful. Tola looked nervous. She whispered to Amina,
This place looks
"This
expensive.
place looks very expensive.
Relax. Yes,
How
it does.
pay?" Before Amina could answer, two older men walked inside. They looked rich. Their clothes were neat. Their watches shone brightly. Vanessa stood up quickly. She greeted them warmly. Then she introduced the girls. "This is Tola. This is Amina." The men smiled. They ordered a lot of food. They bought drinks. They laughed loudly. Before the night ended, the men gave the girls gifts. Phones, money, expensive clothes. Tola felt surprised. Amina felt excited. Later, Vanessa spoke quietly. "You see how easy life can be. Rich men like young, beautiful girls. If you stay close to them, you will never lack money." Tola and Amina looked at each other. The thought of easy money sounded sweet. Slowly, they started following Vanessa everywhere. Their new life had begun. The happening girls. Weeks passed, then months. Tola and Amina changed. They started wearing expensive clothes. They bought new phones. They went to parties almost every night. Rich older men surrounded them. Some men bought them bags. Some bought them shoes. Some gave them large amounts of money. Soon, many students on campus knew them. People called them the happening girls. They enjoyed the attention. They enjoyed the fame. But something slowly began to break. They stopped attending many classes. They stopped studying their books. Their grades began to fall. Some modules were repeated again. But they did not care. Money was flowing. Life looked sweet. They forgot where they came from. They forgot the sacrifices their parents made. They forgot their dreams. All they wanted now was the fast, beautiful life. But darkness was slowly coming closer. Very soon their lives would change forever. You see how it starts so innocent. Big dreams under a tree, proud parents, hard work, hope. Then the city pulls them in with shiny things. Then the easy money whispers sweet promises. And step by step, they walk further from who
Soon
they were.
everyone on
The
campus
warning
will
is
know
already
your
there.
names.
Beautiful things come with a
Really?
terrible
Just
price.
trust me.
Darkness is coming closer. Their lives would change forever. Tola and Amina continued living their new life at the university. Every day felt exciting for them. They walked around campus with beautiful clothes. They carried expensive phones. Students looked at them when they passed. Some students whispered. Some students admired them. Some students wished to be like them. Tola and Amina enjoyed the attention. They enjoyed the feeling of being popular. Vanessa was always leading them. Carol was always close to Vanessa. The four girls went out almost every night. Sometimes they went to restaurants. Sometimes they went to parties. Sometimes rich men picked them up in expensive cars. The men bought them food. The men bought them gifts. The men gave them money. Life felt easy. Life felt sweet. Slowly, Tola and Amina began to forget their real reason for coming to the university. Their books stayed closed most of the time. Their classes were missed again and again. Some teachers started noticing their absence. Some lessons became difficult because they were not studying. But Tola and Amina did not worry. They believed life would always remain sweet. They believed nothing bad could ever happen to them. They did not know that danger was already close to them. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Tola and Amina continued living the fast life. They bought new clothes. They bought new shoes. They changed their phones again and again. Sometimes they traveled with a rich man to different places in the city. Their names started spreading around campus. Many students called them the Happening Girls. Tola liked hearing that name. Amina also enjoyed it. But slowly, something important was being lost. Their focus on education disappeared. Their grades became poor. Some modules were repeated. Some lecturers warned them. But the girls did not listen. As long as they had money, as long as they were popular, as long as people admired them, they felt satisfied. They forgot the sacrifices their parents made. They forgot the dreams they once had under the big tree in their village. They forgot the simple life they once lived. Their hearts slowly moved far away from the good values they were raised with. Vanessa always encouraged them. Carol also supported the lifestyle. The four girls continued living without fear. They did not know that the road they were walking on was dangerous. One day, something strange happened. Vanessa was nowhere to be found. In the morning, Tola noticed something. Vanessa did not come out of her room. Tola thought maybe she left early. But when the day continued, Vanessa was still not seen. Tola spoke to Amina. Amina also noticed the same thing. They tried calling Vanessa, but her phone did not answer. They searched around the campus. They asked some students. Nobody had seen Vanessa. They went to ask Carol. Carol also looked confused. Carol said she did not know where Vanessa was. This made Tola and Amina worried. Vanessa was not the kind of person who disappeared without telling them. One day passed, then another day passed. Vanessa was still missing. The girls started feeling uncomfortable. A strange fear slowly entered their hearts. They tried to believe that Vanessa would return, but deep inside, they felt something was wrong. A few days later, strange news began spreading around the area. People said a young girl had been found near the roadside outside the city. Many people gathered there to see what had happened. When Tola and Amina heard the news, they felt curious, but they also felt afraid. Something inside them pushed them to go and see. They walked slowly to the place where people were gathered. There was a crowd. People were whispering. Some people looked shocked. Some people covered their mouths. Tola and Amina slowly moved closer. Then they saw
What's
the body.
happening?
The moment they looked
No,
carefully, their
this
hearts
can't
stopped.
be her.
The girl on the ground was Vanessa.
Move!
Her body looked
Who?
terrible.
Where is
Some
she?
parts of her body were
I
missing.
don't know.
The sight was horrifying. Tola felt her legs becoming weak. Amina felt cold fear run through her body. They could not believe what they were seeing. Their friend Vanessa was dead. The same Vanessa who brought them into this life. The same Vanessa who laughed with them just days ago. Now she was lying on the ground, lifeless. Tola began to cry. Amina could not speak. Fear entered their hearts deeply. They did not understand what had happened, but they knew something dark was behind it. After that day, nothing felt the same for Tola and Amina. The excitement they once felt began to disappear. Fear slowly replaced it. They could not forget what they saw. The image of Vanessa's body stayed in their minds. They began thinking about the rich men they met. They began wondering if one of those men had something to do with it, but they had no answers. Carol also heard the news. She became very frightened. The three girls no longer felt safe. At night, Tola and Amina struggled to sleep. Sometimes they woke up suddenly with fear. Their hearts were filled with questions. How did Vanessa die? Who killed her? Why did this happen? But nobody could answer these questions.
Vanessa
The life that once
cannot
looked
be
beautiful
dead.
now
But
began
that
to
is
look
her.
dangerous.
How did
And
this
this was
happen?
only
I
the
know.
beginning.
This
Much
life is
worse was still coming.
dangerous. I think you are right.
Now felt
Going
heavy
to
and
be
dark.
okay.
Students continued talking about the terrible death. Some students said it was a ritual killing. Some students said powerful people were involved. But nobody knew the truth. Carol also became very quiet. She no longer laughed the way she used to. She stayed inside her room most of the time. One day, Tola noticed something strange. A bad smell was coming from Carol's room.
Yes,
At
I
first,
noticed it
Tola thought maybe
yesterday.
food
It
had
smells
spoiled,
strange in this
but the
room. I thought
smell
maybe
became
something was
stronger each
rotten.
day.
But the smell is
Amina
getting
also
worse.
noticed the smell. The smell was very unpleasant. Carol also began scratching her
Look
skin
at
again and
Carol.
again.
What about her?
She
keeps
looked
scratching her
tired.
skin.
Her
It is
face looked
nothing.
weak.
That smell is
Her
coming from
eyes looked
somewhere.
frightened.
You two worry too
Tola
much.
asked Carol what was wrong. Carol said she was fine, but Tola and Amina could see something was not right. The smell continued getting worse. Fear slowly began growing inside their hearts. Days passed. Carol's condition became worse. The strange smell around her body continued growing stronger. Students who walked near her room started complaining. Some students covered their noses when they passed. Carol's skin began changing. Dark marks started appearing on her body. Her skin looked dry and broken. Sometimes small wounds appeared on her arms. Carol kept scratching her body again and again. Sometimes she scratched until blood came out. Tola and Amina became very worried. They told Carol she should go to the hospital, but Carol refused. Carol said doctors could not help her. This answer confused Tola and Amina. They did not understand why Carol would say such a thing. At night, Carol sometimes cried quietly in her room. The fear inside the apartment was growing. The death of Vanessa had already shaken them. Now something strange was happening to Carol, and nobody knew why. One night, Carol called Tola and Amina into her room. Her face looked pale. Her body looked weak. The terrible smell in the room was stronger than before. Tola and Amina felt afraid. Carol began speaking slowly. Carol said something very frightening. She said they had made a terrible mistake. She said the rich men they met were not ordinary men. She said some of them were involved in dark rituals. She said Vanessa had already been chosen. Carol said Vanessa was sacrificed. Tola and Amina felt shock inside their hearts. Their bodies became cold with fear. Carol continued speaking. She said they had also been chosen. She said their names had already been given. She said they were already sold. Carol said the rich men used young girls for sacrifice. She said this was how they became richer and more powerful. Tola began shaking. Amina could not believe what she was hearing. Carol said she was already dying. She said the ritual had already started inside her body. She said soon her body would finish rotting. Tola and Amina felt terror fill their hearts. They realized the danger they had entered, but they did not know how to escape. Carol's condition became worse very quickly. Her body looked like it was dying slowly. The smell became unbearable. Her skin broke open in many places. She became very weak. She could barely stand. Tola and Amina tried helping her, but they did not know what to do. Carol cried many times. She said she was afraid to die. She said she did not want to die like Vanessa. One night, the situation became terrible. Carol's body was shaking. Her breathing became weak. Tola and Amina stayed beside her. They were crying. They felt helpless.
Carol,
Then slowly,
please.
Carol
This
stopped
can't
breathing.
be happening.
Her body became still.
Wake
Carol
up,
had died.
Carol.
Tola and Amina sat there in silence. Their hearts were filled with fear and sorrow. Two of their friends were now dead. Vanessa was gone. Carol was gone. And now they remembered Carol's words. They had already been chosen. After the death of Carol, Tola and Amina were completely terrified. They could not sleep. They could not eat. Every small sound made them afraid. They kept remembering Carol's last words. They had already been sold. They were waiting to be sacrificed. The thought alone filled their hearts with terror. They realized they needed help. They needed someone who understood spiritual matters, someone who could tell them the truth. After thinking deeply, they made a decision. They would go and find a spiritual doctor. Maybe the spiritual doctor could help them. Maybe there was still a way to escape. But deep inside their hearts, they feared something terrible. They feared it might already be too late, and the dark path they had entered might never let them go.
Tola and Amina could not close their eyes after Carol left this world. Fear was sitting deep, deep inside their chests, like a stone that won't move. Every little sound at night, a branch cracking, a door creaking, wind whistling through the window, made their hearts jump. They kept seeing Vanessa's face. They kept hearing Carol's last weak voice saying, "We already sold. We just waiting to die." Those words were stuck inside their heads, playing over and over like a broken song. They could not just sit and wait for the same thing to catch them. No ways. So one early morning, when the campus was still sleeping, they packed small bags and slipped out quiet like shadows. They left the city behind,
traveled far, far to a place where tar roads turn into dust and then disappear completely. Deep in the bush, where tall trees stand like silent giants, and the wind moves slow and lazy through the leaves. People whispered about a powerful spiritual doctor living there alone in that quiet. Their legs were shaking as they walked the narrow path to a small hut, hearts pounding so loud they thought the trees could hear. They were scared of the truth he might speak, but more scared of doing nothing and ending up like Carol. They reached the door, stood there breathing hard, whispered prayers inside their hearts. Please, let it not be too late. Inside the hut, it was dark and cool. The spiritual doctor was sitting still, like he was expecting them. Tola and Amina went down on the floor right in front of him, hands trembling. They opened their mouths and let everything spill out. The university life, the rich men, the promises, the parties, Vanessa disappearing, Carol rotting from inside, that terrible smell, the slow, painful death, everything. The old man closed his eyes for a very long time. The room became so quiet you could hear your own blood moving. Then he opened his eyes, looked at them with a face that carried too much knowing. His voice came low and heavy, like stones dropping into deep water. He told them the thing that turned their blood to ice. Your destiny's already taken, he said. Powerful rituals already finished. Your name's already called out at different altars. You already sold. Tola felt cold spreading from her toes right up to her head. Amina started crying silent tears, just running and running. They begged him, please help us. We don't want to die. We want our lives back. The spiritual doctor looked at them for a long moment, then spoke again. He said there is only one road to take. The rituals can be turned back, but it won't be soft. Big forces involved. To break the hold, you must bring a very big sacrifice. Not just any sacrifice, a huge amount of money. Only then can the work start to pull you free. Tola and Amina stared at each other. Fear was screaming in their ears, but the picture of Carol wasting away was screaming louder. They remembered Vanessa. They remembered Carol. They did not want to follow that same road. So without wasting time, they said yes. They gathered the money he asked for, handed it over, believing this man would snatch them back from the edge. He took the money, nodded slowly, told them soon everything will start getting better. A tiny light of hope flickered inside their chests. They left that hut thinking maybe, just maybe, the nightmare was turning around. But they did not see the darker road still lying ahead. Few days later, they tried going back to normal classes, laughing, pretending fear was leaving them. But fear does not leave so easy. It follows like a hungry dog. Then one afternoon, Tola was gone. Just gone. She walked out and never walked back. Amina waited, called her phone, sent messages, ran around campus, asked everyone. Nothing. No sign. Days became weeks. Tola vanished, clean like smoke. Amina refused to give up. She walked streets, asked strangers, searched corners, her heart heavy like lead. One night, the streets were dead quiet, dark pressing down. She was tired, afraid, calling Tola's name soft into the night. Then, silence swallowed her too. Amina disappeared the same way. No scream, no trace, no goodbye. Both girls gone. Life around the university kept moving, laughing, partying, posting pictures. But Tola and Amina had fallen into a deep darkness. And somewhere far from eyes, somewhere hidden, a terrible thing was waiting for them. Days turned into weeks, and nobody heard one word from those two girls. Their phones went dead silent. Their room stood empty with clothes still hanging, and beds never slept in again. Back in the villages, their parents sat waiting by the phone every evening, hoping for that call that never came. Days dragged on without the sound of their daughters' voices, and worry crept in slow, like evening shadows growing longer. The mamas and papas' hearts started beating fast with fear. They dialed those numbers over and over, but only silence answered back. So fear turned into deep ache. At last, they said enough. They packed small bags and traveled far to that university town. They needed to see their children with their own eyes. They needed to know why the phone stayed quiet. When they reached the gates, they asked everyone. Students in the halls, teachers in the rooms, cleaners sweeping the paths. They walked every path, asking the same painful
Have you
question.
seen Tola
Where
and
are our
Amina?
daughters? But nobody could point
we
a finger.
haven't seen them
Nobody
in
knew a thing.
days.
The parents' hearts grew heavier, heavier, like stones sinking in deep water. While they searched, whispers started floating around from the mouths of other students, words the parents never wanted to hear. People said those girls spent time with rich old men, always chasing shiny things, money, luxury, fancy clothes. They forgot books. They forgot lectures. They chased a fast life that glittered but burned. The parents stood frozen, listening, shock hitting them like cold rain. Their hearts cracked bit by bit. They
Tola, where are
remembered the
these
bright
children?
morning
Why is
when their
everyone
daughters
saying
left
bad things
home
about
full
them?
of big
We
dreams,
have looked and
full
asked
of
everyone.
I
hope for
know.
books and good future. But now, these stories painted a different picture, a dark one. Pain cut deep, yet the parents refused to turn back. They kept searching, only wanting their children back, breathing or not. They just wanted truth. Every day, they walked the city streets, around the university gates, asking strangers, begging for any small clue. But answers stayed hidden. Weeks became months. Months stretched long. The parents prayed hard. They cried in the quiet nights. They held on to thin hope that one day the girls would walk through the door smiling again. 1 year slipped away, then another. Still no sign, no footprint, no whisper of Tola and Amina. Hope faded slow, like a candle burning down to nothing. But the pain stayed strong. It never left those parents. Every sunrise, they woke wondering what became of their beloved ones. Far, far from the noisy city, in a secret dark place, deep inside thick forest, something terrible had already happened. Tola and Amina landed in an old hidden shrine, a place few eyes ever see, belonging to a strong deity with no mercy. The girls found out too late. They got promised as wives to that altar. No escape, no turning back. At first, everything felt strange, confusing, but truth sank in slow. They lost freedom. They belonged to the shrine now, nothing more. Every single day, from first light to black night, they worked hard, cleaning the sacred place, gathering bitter herbs and roots from deep forest, mixing old medicines, carrying heavy pots of water on their heads, doing every tough job thrown at them. No rest, no break. Their bodies grew tired, thin faces drawn, eyes hollow. They walked miles under burning sun, under pouring rain, carrying loads that bent their backs. Sometimes the sun scorched their skin, sometimes cold rain soaked them through, but they kept going, no choice. Many nights in the dark, they remembered home, soft beds, warm food, laughing with family, parents' voices calling them for supper. Tears fell quiet. They wished to turn time backward, wished they never chased that wrong shiny path, but the shrine held them tight. It never let go. Year after year, the hard life ground them down. Bodies became weaker, thinner, strength leaked away like water from cracked pot. Suffering rolled on without end. In the end, the girls turned so weak, their legs could hardly carry them. The hard work became too much, too heavy. Tola fell first. One day, she collapsed under the load, body giving up, breath slowing until it stopped. Amina stayed a little longer, fighting, but her body too broke down at last. She followed, fading away, quiet in that lonely forest place. That, my friends, is the bitter end of the price they paid for chasing fame and easy shine. Aye, what a heavy lesson wrapped in sorrow. This story teaches that quick money and wrong friendships can destroy a life. It also teaches that not everything that looks beautiful is good. Sometimes the things that look exciting can hide great danger. Young people must remember where they come from. They must respect the sacrifices their parents make for them. They must choose good friends. They must stay focused on their dreams and education, because one wrong path can change a life forever. So choose carefully while the sun still shines on your face, because when the shadows fall, it is too late to turn back.
The fire has burned low. The embers glow soft now. And if your heart stayed with us right till this very end, if the tale of Tola and Amina held you close, through the joy, the shine, the fall, and the sorrow, then aye, that means the story found its home in you. You watched until the last whisper of the wind in the forest. That means you felt the weight, you tasted the lesson, and you carried it with you. So please, if this story touched you, hit that like button. Let it shine bright for others to see. And subscribe, my friend. Join the circle around this fire, so we can keep bringing you more tales, more truths, more warnings wrapped in beauty, more stories that make the heart beat stronger. Your support is the wood that keeps the storytelling flame alive. Thank you from deep in my chest for every view, every like, every share. You give us wings to fly further. We have loved sharing this journey with you today. See you soon, very soon, when the next tale calls and the fire crackles again. Until then, walk wise, choose your paths with open eyes, and may the ancestors guard your steps. Hamba Kahila, my people. Sala Kahila.